Okay, yeah, I promise I'm gonna leave this thing alone. The tech's gonna tick. It's probably me. It's probably me. I'm the problem. But y'all, welcome to the Tax Deductions Live Q&A. I'm your host, Sonja Jones of GIP Financial, Joe, Mr. Miyagi of Money. So I just wanted to do a recap on our tax deductions. And so I wanted just to make sure that you guys can see me. I'm getting texts, folks saying that they see me. So I will go ahead and get started. So, with that being said, let's talk about tax deduction. So, the two words rather, that you make sure that you remember are ordinary and necessary. Okay, ordinary and necessary. If the deduction is ordinary for your industry and necessary for your business, then it's a justifiable tax deduction. Okay, so in the episode, if you have not watched the tax deduction episode, make sure that you watch. It's episode 37. And so the example that I used in the podcast was for GIP Financial. Something that's ordinary for our business would be kind of like the software that we use for our client portals, Google Workspace, things like that, QuickBooks subscription, stuff like that. Something that's necessary, I like to consider those like the general type of um, expenses, such as like your advertising, office supplies, um, bookkeeping, thing, right? Those types of things are definitely necessary. And a couple of the expenses that I highlighted on the particular episode was utilities, home office expenses, your business travel, your mileage, professional development, and then most importantly, your merchant account fees. And those will be the fees from your Shopify, your PayPal, your Stripe, your Square accounts, right? So just as a reminder, when you get that payout into your business checking account, it is not all the way accurate for your bookkeeping, right? So say for example, you got $100 product, somebody buys it, you get the payout and it's like $97. So there's a $3 transaction fee. When you do your bookkeeping, like say if it's in QuickBooks and you get that $97 payout, you're gonna have to expense it. But there's a feature in QuickBooks that says split. You can split the transaction and put the different amounts into different expense categories. So what you would have to do in that case is, excuse me, if that deposit was $97, $100 of that would be towards your general sales income, and then you will put a -3 for your merchant fees. That's the way that will look. Okay. If you were using the DIY tracker that we provide, shout out to Latasha Phillips, the inventor of the DIY tracker, you would basically um, correct that on your tracker to put $100 in income and then $3 for the merchant fee. Okay, in order to make sure that it stays reconciled. And then last, we talked about your credit card or loan interest rates, interest payments, and fees. Right, those items are also tax deductible as well. See, yes, I can see your comment. Praise the Lord. I'm on live for real because I was getting nervous because I was unaware if I was on here for real. Just want to say that. All right. And so shout out to Karen and Stephen Booth. Appreciate that. Hey, 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 that's my friend to the end. Hey, Karen. And so y'all make sure you share this. Share. And going back to credit card, loan, interest and fees. So remember, if you're swiping a credit card, your expenses that you're using, those are already, those ordinary necessary things that you pay with your credit card. You can expense those already, right? The credit card or the loan payment cannot be deductible because you're just repaying the credit card back. You're getting a deduction from the purchases that you made. Okay. So that's it. You cannot deduct your credit card or loan payments. However, your interest and any fees, like say Amex, you have a membership fee, right? The annual fee. And then if you have a loan, sometimes the loans come with, closing costs and all that other type of stuff, right? Those things can be deducted as well, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to bring up a couple of other um, deductions that you may not be aware of. I want to adjust my camera a little bit. Okay, gotcha. So, the first thing is let's talk about um, clothing, maybe in uniforms. So, y'all see my shirt, right? This is advertising. Okay. Um, It's also what I would consider a job supply because I use this shirt when I'm doing vending, of obviously, and I'm teaching with y'all, things like that. I wear my stuff for workshops. I also have t-shirts that have the logo on there, right? So it's ordinary, right? Because most industries or folks have logos and phrases for their particular business, and it's necessary because it's advertised. Now, I want to show you something where when it comes to, if you see like a lot of business owners kind of wearing their own stuff, like their own brands, right, with jogging suits and hats and things like that, they're doing that on purpose, not just to advertise, but it's a tax deduction. So let me show you something where you can take something that you just buy in general and make it a tax deduction. So this is my backpack. Okay, this is my backpack. I bought the backpack from J.C. Penney. Okay, but I had my logo embroidered on there. Shout out to So Pretty Embroidery. Right, so if you're in Memphis, hit up So Pretty Embroidery. They do amazing work. I also get my polos embroidered with them. So I'll tell you how you will make this work. So I had to pay for the cost of the embroidery, right? That's tax deductible because, but now since I've also made this backpack, a part of the brand, I can now also deduct the cost of this backpack. Okay, so you see how that works. So if you get something like, if you go to the uniform store and get you just a regular old polo in your brand colors, you take it and get it embroidered, then you can get the price for the embroidery deducted and the amount of the shirt deducted. Okay. Also, especially when it comes to clothing, if you do like dry cleaning, right, you can also deduct for the amount for the dry cleaning of that particular uh, polo shirt or what have you. Okay. So that's one thing that a lot of people miss as well. Okay. So go ahead and get you a little shirt, get you some embroidery, nice professional, logo. Do your thing. Okay. Another thing that we talk about quite often is gifts, okay, and donations. Now, from a business standpoint, um, there's a cap on gifts per organization, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the cap is $25. So it's a very small cap. However, this is how I particularly like to um, um, take that deduction in a sense. So, say if you want to donate to an organization, um, especially if they're like, say, they're doing fundraising for a talent show or a pageant and they have ad space, right? If they have ad space and you can purchase, ad space, I would rather use your business funds for that because that is advertising. So you're actually killing two birds with one stone. You're supporting the organization and you are um, advertising the business, right? So instead of just making general donations, try to find a way to where you can incorporate advertising and make it a win-win for the organization and yourself. Okay, so that's one of the ways that I like to, um, do tax deductions for um, gifts, right? So, and then another thing I want to bring up as well, and you'll see this on my social media, is entertainment. Okay, so and the reason why this came up is so Latasha and I are always on social media and we are always looking up. And to be told, we don't even have to look it up. It comes on our feed where there are other fellow colleagues in our industry that are, and maybe they're just doing it for likes and follows. But some of the advice is partly correct or it's very misleading and it can be dangerous because we got short attention spans. Ain't nobody really asking questions. They just said they just look for it online and they just go and run with it, and that's dangerous. So there was a post about a certain entertainer that is going on tour, and the post was about ways to deduct those tickets. And if you look in the comments, some of our other colleagues was like, the entertainment deduction is no longer per the IRS. So if you know, had a situation where you could in the past where you would, take a client, to a basketball game or something like that, you can't do that anymore. Sorry. Cannot do that anymore. Anything that's obvious entertainment. And then they also in publication 463, they also talk about too anything that's reasonable, or if it's lavish, right? The IRS is really gonna flag it and be like, dude, what we doing? Right? So hear me clearly. In publication 463, we talked about the entertainment deduction. You cannot no longer do that. However, say if you go to a concert, if you invite a client to a concert, or even if you want to invite your team, you know, to Grizzlies game or something like that, basketball game, you cannot deduct the basketball tickets. However, if you want to buy everybody stuff from the concession stand, you can do that. Why? Because the IRS specifically says that if the cost of the food is separate from the cost of the event, you can take that deduction. That's a 50% meal deduction. Okay. So, not to say that's why I was saying that, it can be misleading. So, if you're going to take somebody, business wise or employee, client wise or employee wise to, some type of entertainment event, just know the cost of the tickets are not tax deductible, but the meal is. Okay. So, Harry, drinks on you, cokes on cokes on cokes, Dr. Peppers everywhere, hot dogs galore, 50%. Okay. Now, when it comes to 100% meals, okay, because things did change. I know at one point in time I was communicating that, um, especially with solo meals, excuse me, give me one sec. You can deduct solo meals if you're going to a conference, right? But if you're just, if I leave my house and go get a Happy Meal en route to a client meeting, I can't deduct that. Okay. If I go to a conference and get something to eat, that's 50%. Okay. I know when it comes to 100% meal deductions, it's going to be pertaining to a like your standard office Christmas party, something like that. That's 100%. But y'all, please check, go to irs.gov and go to publication 463 before you start spending money, or you ask a tax professional. Okay. I tell my followers and stuff all the time, like, look, if you see something on social media and it looks weird, if it looks too good to be true, please send me a DM. Please send Latasha a DM at Legacy Pro Accounting. Just ask us, like, dude, is this for real? Right. So that's all I say about that. So you just have to be very aware of what's going on with, tax law, with tax deductions. That's why it's important too to have experts that are financial or tax bookkeeping, accounting experts specifically for businesses. Okay, because I'm going to be more versed in business, versus personal. Latasha and Brooke Tunstall, they do personal all day long. Me, I'm strictly small business and nonprofits. Okay. So just be very, very, very aware of that. So I just wanted to drop in and make sure that you guys had a little bit more information regarding deductions. And of course, if you see this at another time, make sure that if you have a question, just add a comment and I'll definitely answer it because I'll get the notification in my email that you left a comment. Shout out to everybody that is watching. I really appreciate it. And I apologize before because I started on StreamYard. Somehow or another, my camera wasn't acting right and it was like pitch black. And so I don't know what happened. So I came directly on YouTube Studio. Um, but at first, when I came on YouTube Studio, it was like, you need a stream key and you got to connect to, your live streaming software. And I was like, I thought you could do it directly on YouTube. So that's how we are learning every day. So the 2025 format for the From Chaos to Clarity podcast, that we're going to do an episode and then follow it up with a episode live. So that's what we're doing because I want to make sure that as we're producing content that I'm available live to answer any questions that you guys may have. Okay. So I said I was going to be on here about 30 minutes. So despite the technical difficulties I had earlier, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I appreciate you guys so much. Like I said, make sure that you subscribe and that you also put a comment if you got any questions about your tax deductions. Okay. And if you definitely have, before I sign off, look, it's too many of you guys out here that are struggling with your numbers. You're up here like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how much I made. I don't know how much I spent. I'm missing opportunities for funding. I'm missing opportunities for grants. And that should not be the case. Okay. So, hey, Erica. Yes, I was just about to talk about that. So, we have an online community called GIP Academy. And GIP Academy is the solution for all of my entrepreneurs that are doing their own bookkeeping or attempting to do their own bookkeeping, and you don't know what you're doing. Right? Come on over to GIP Academy. Let my team and I help you. Okay? We have an online resource library. We do monthly teachings. Like right now is the time to get in. because we are literally walking our folks through getting their numbers together. We did it in February, and we actually walked through the tax forms that we talked about for the tax deduction episode. So if you're in GIP Academy, membership has this privilege. So we actually walk through those forms, like the home office deduction form. We walk through it. We walk through publication 463 as well. And we also walk through the Schedule C. Okay. Every month, we're doing a live teaching. In March, we're going to continue to talk about taxes and leave that hour open for our Academy members if they have specific questions about what's going on, how they need to organize their stuff. And then I'm pretty sure we'll probably do one again in April. We may have to move it up because taxes are due on the 17th, if I'm not mistaken, instead of the 15th, because it's on the weekend. So we might have to move our April teaching up just so folks can get some extra time to get into to get their taxes done. So it's $97 a month. Well, less than $3 a day, you can get the expert accounting and bookkeeping um, assistance that you need. You're not gonna find it anywhere else, right? So you get access to us through a Facebook online group. You also have access to us via email and text for $97 a month. All right. So if you're interested in that, go to GIP. I see you, Erica. Go to gipfinancials.com. And then when you go to gipfinancials.com, click on Academy and you can enroll there. All right. So don't let 2025 catch you slipping, especially with your tax year 2024 taxes. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you on the right path. Okay? So I hope you have a great evening. Like I said, if you got any questions, put them in the comments. Shout out to everybody that came on to the live. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you on the next episode. Y'all subscribe. Take care, y'all.